Awards West and Centralia can supply you with t-shirts, hats, and hundreds, if not thousands, of promotional products, even team uniforms. Before you buy, check in with locally owned Awards West printwares at aldersons.net. Now back to our ESN crew.
And welcome back to the Lincoln Bowl. Paul Beatty along with Tony Davila here on the Eli and the NFHS Sports Network. It is time for the postgame show, the Aldersons Awards West postgame show for trophies, awards, T-shirts, and so much more. Go to aldersons.net for their full catalog. And what a game we had here. 42-28 was our final. At halftime, it was 26-21, and the Lincoln Abes had the lead, missed a couple of extra points, and led by 5. But when they came out in the second half here, Tony, Camas had it, and uncharacteristically for them, had a couple of 3-and-outs to start the game, or to start the second half. And in between, Lincoln began on their own 24-yard line and ran the ball every play, and was capped off by a 5-yard run, touchdown run by Navarre Dixon. And then Jabari Johnson would run in the 2-point extra point. That would make it 34-21 with 7:29 to go. Again, then there was the 3-and-out. Lincoln would turn it over on downs. Camas would get it back, and he picked off a big pick-off there by DJ Irvin for Lincoln. That gave the ball back to the Abes on their own 2-yard line. They would end up having to punt it away and punt it down to Zach Blair. He'd take it on his own 17-yard line, turned the corner, got up the far sideline, and was gone. And scored, got the game back within 6 with 7:08 left to go in the game, 34-28. On the ensuing possession, though, Lincoln took over with 6:59 to go on their own 27-yard line. And they would, again, get down the field to the 43 of Camas when they handed the ball off to, again, Navarre Dixon. And over the left side, he would go 43 yards for the touchdown. And Jabari Johnson would add the 2-point conversion. That would make it 42-28. Camas would get the ball back. They drove it down with about 3 minutes to go. They had 4th and 5, tried to get it into the end zone. Trenton Swanson along the sideline caught the ball, but he was out of bounds, and that turned the ball over, and Lincoln was able to run the clock out to secure the 48-20, or check that, the 42-28 win. What a game we had here today. Plenty of numbers as well. Are you ready for those numbers?
Getting close.
Almost ready there. So Camas drops to 0-3. They will take on Kelso next week. And again, a disappointing loss, and no doubt they're not happy about starting 0-3. I'm not sure the last time we said that about a Kelso or a Camas team. But you can see that they're close. They nearly beat a very good Glacier Peak team last week. They took on a very stout Lincoln team here today. They were in it until the very end as well. Lincoln, meantime, they're off to a 3-0 start. And in the Pierce County League, they are setting the tone. Them and Lakes look like the two early leaders in that. So when those two face off, that is going to be that could be a heck of a game down down the stretch here. And it may end up determining who ends up winning the PCL this year. Next week, Lincoln will be hosting Mount Tahoma. Mount Tahoma, a much improved team. I know they were in a tight one last night. I can't remember if they won or not, but Mount Tahoma is a much better team than they have been in the past. They're getting that program turned around there. They got some good things going there, so that's going to be a challenge for Lincoln next week as well. I think our stat man is ready now. Tony, let's get all these numbers. It's going to take an hour to run down everything.
Yeah, so before I combined, there is 1,107 yards of offense between these two teams. 708 of them coming from Lincoln. We will start with Camas first, though. Yanni, 25 of 34 passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception for 354 yards through the air. Swanson was the leading receiver, 11 receptions, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Stark had 4 receptions for 54. Blair, 5 receptions for 92 and a touchdown. Uchi had 2 catches for 12 yards. Limnell, 1 catch for 11. And Brody had 2 catches in the second half for 15 yards. On the ground, they didn't do too much. It was Yanni with 11 yards rushing. Brody had 17 yards. And Tennant had 17 yards as well on the ground. For the Lincoln Abes, it was Jabari Johnson, 10 of 19 passing for 210 yards through the air. It was Granberry had 3 catches, 85 yards. Taplasi, 3 catches, 51. Irvin, that's DJ Irvin, 1 catch, 12 yards. Esekailu, 1 catch, 34. Brandon Irvin with 1 catch for 18. And Pugh with 1 catch for 10 yards in the second half. Yeah, only 2 passes completed in the second half for Johnson, but didn't really need to complete a whole lot of passes because Johnson, 24 carries, 290 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns, and Dixon, 23 carries, 208 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Siu Fetui, 1 carry, 1 yard for a touchdown for him. 498 yards on the ground for the Lincoln Abes for that 708 yards of offense.
Just an amazing rushing attack today by the Lincoln Abes. And believe it or not, it started off with a 56-yard pass is what Johnson started off with. And, in fact, most of those yards were picked up not until the late first quarter is when he started to run the ball. He sat back there. He got sacked a couple of times. And then they started running the ball a little more. And again, it was late first quarter before he really got going. So that 290 yards, most of that was in 3 quarters.
Yeah, his first carry of the game was first touchdown of the game was 5 carries in. That was an 85-yard touchdown run with 45 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, there you go. All right, it's time now for our game MVP, brought to you by Education as a Career. All school districts are in need of all kinds of employees, from teachers to custodians, lunchroom to paraeducators, and a huge need of school bus drivers. Education is a great career. Start your journey today by contacting your local school districts for opportunities. MVP of the game here, I think it's pretty clear.
You get 500 yards of offense by yourself. You account for 500 yards of offense. It's a pretty obvious call.
Yeah, Jabari Johnson will be our player, our MVP of the game. But Navarre Dixon, an outstanding effort as well. Granberry also on defense. He had a heck of a effort. DJ Irvin as well.
Yeah, that pick.
That offensive line was terrific today. They had some holds in there, but they did their job today for the Lincoln Abes.
And the one to shout out on the opposite side, Blair had a game. He ended up 5 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown, but he also had an 83-yard punt return that made this one a little bit closer.
Hey, I thought Taylor Yanni had a terrific game, of course. Titan Brody did some yeoman's work running the ball. Trenton Swanson, a big game. The tight end, Sam Stark, had some big carries as well. And then their front 5 also did pretty well today as well. Again, a couple of mistakes here and there, and that really can turn a game like this around. And when you get into a track meet like that, if you get too behind, it's so difficult to make that up in the end. And once again, Lincoln will come off as a 42-28 winner, and they'll go to 3-0, and Camas will drop to 0-3. That'll do it for us here. Thank you for watching. The South Kitsap and Puyallup game is on now with Matthew King on the other NFHS channel. We will hope to see you again soon here on the Eli and the NFHS Sports Networks.
Thank you for watching and subscribing to the Eli and NFHS Sports Networks. Remember, a portion of your subscription goes back to the schools. We can't wait to see you again, right here for the best in high school sports live action. The Eli Sports Network.